Hey yo, so what up, people? I got just a short little encouragement today, and this is for people that might feel like they're in a lowly place. I was reading my word today, like every day, but this morning I started off reading my word, and I was reading through like some of the different things that Jesus did, some of the different purposes and power of the things that Jesus did. And ain't got no space. Tired, but I'm pushing through. Let me see. So one of the things that popped out to me was I believe I was reading about John the Baptist and Jesus, and we were in Luke and Mark. But I'm gonna go to Mark first because that's what I have written in my notes. Or maybe not, because I stopped here on Luke. But I don't know why my mouth got all this yuck. Okay, anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that. Let's carry on. Mark, I'm going to Mark. Okay. All right, yep. So we're going to be looking at Mark chapter 1. And this is still talking about people who might feel like they're in lowly places, or just people not looking like the status quo. So this is all going to be just encouragement for why none of that should bother you, and why you shouldn't let people that are outside of you impact who you know you are on the inside. So we're going to start. I'm probably just going to read not all of Mark, but some parts. So let's start. We're in Mark chapter 1, and we're going to do one through 6 thus far, and then I'll probably jump through Mark 1 and we'll go elsewhere. So it says, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as it is written in the prophets, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. John did baptize in the wilderness, and preached the baptism of repentance for the remission of sins. And there went out unto him all the land of Judea and they of Jerusalem, and were all baptized of him in the river of Jordan, confessing their sins. And John was clothed with camel's hair, and with a girdle of a skin about his loins, and he did eat locusts and wild honey. So this kind of stuck out to me when it comes to like people in lowly places, because the desert places, right, we typically look at them as like somewhere you don't want to be. You don't want to be caught up or stuck in the desert places. That's a fact. Excuse me, y'all, but I'm about to fix this on camera because it's just bothering me. Okay, so you typically don't want to be caught up in like the lowly, like in desert places, right? Nobody wants to be stuck in the desert. It's dry, it's a lot of sand, it's a lot of heat, it's just nothing there, right? And it takes a hard time to find stuff there. But we see oftentimes like a lot of the people that had to go through wildernesses or desert places, like God seemed to use them the most, or like the mightiest, right? And even John the Baptist, like he was out in the wilderness, but he was clothed in camel's hair and with a girdle of a skin about his loins, and he did eat locusts and honey. So he didn't have on the freshest clothes, he didn't have on the best clothes, but God still used him even in his wilderness, right? God still used him, and he used him in such a way that he was having such an impact or influence on his community that people started to come to him in his wilderness place, just based off of like the power of the messages and stuff that he was delivering to the community. And even here he's talking about how, you know, even though he's doing all of these things, you know, there's still going to come a messenger, which he was talking about Jesus Christ, who's going to come after him and still do, you know, even things far greater. So then when we go forward, still in Mark 1, and we're going to go to 11 through 13. So Mark 1, 11 through 13. And it says, and there came a voice from heaven, saying, thou art my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And immediately the Spirit driveth him into the wilderness. And he was there in the wilderness 40 days, tempted of Satan, and was the wild beast, and the angels ministered unto him. So I think that was interesting to read, because a lot of times we can see the desert as a place of punishment, but it says here that God was well pleased with his Son, and he had the Spirit send him into the wilderness. Like the Spirit drove him into the wilderness, and he allowed Satan to test him. So sometimes we feel like, you know, attacks on us can be a sign of, oh, we're not doing something right. It don't necessarily mean you're not doing anything right. It doesn't necessarily mean that you know, God is trying to punish you. He sent Jesus into the wilderness because he was well pleased with him, and he wanted the devil to test him. You know, and even in the process of him being tested, and while he was there chilling with these wild beasts, it still says the angels ministered unto him even in his wilderness place. The wilderness and the desert is not always a place of punishment, right? It's typically a place of transformation, good transformation, godly transformation. Anywho, we're also going to go to Mark 1 verses 45. And it says, but he went out and began to publish it much, and to blaze abroad the matter, insomuch that Jesus could no more openly enter into the city, but was without in desert places, and they came to him from every quarter. So here you have it where Jesus had just finished healing the man with leprosy, and the man had went about testifying pretty much like what happened, what took place with him. And because the people were so upset about what had taken place, they pretty much told Jesus he couldn't come into the city. And so Jesus was without in desert places. And even in the desert places, people still were coming to him to get words or the healing or whatever they needed. They went to Jesus in the desert places. So a lot of times, even with rejection, right? This message was definitely kind of multifaceted for me, because one, we see John the Baptist, he's not well dressed. He don't look like society. He not even amongst society. He's somewhere off in the wilderness by his lonesome with his camel hair outfit on, and eating locusts and wild honey, right? He just chilling in the wilderness, not even caring to be dressed up to par with his community or his surroundings. He's just doing his thing, knowing that his purpose matters more than his appearance, right? He don't care nothing about that. His purpose matters more than his appearance or his location. He's just doing what he knows he has to do to prepare for Christ to come, for Jesus to come, and then do what he had to do on the earth. So then in this next part that we jump to, Mark 1:45, we see where the man with leprosy had went about just preaching and glorifying what God had done for him so much that the people of the city kicked Jesus out, and they was like, nah, you need to go. And he went without in desert places. Like, and even still with him being kicked out, people came to him in those places to still get what they needed from God. And so a lot of times, even in his rejection was still used. Like, his rejection still had a purpose. Like, that rejection still showed that regardless of the acceptance, not that he was looking for acceptance, like Jesus wasn't looking for acceptance when he healed that man. The man just went off and started telling people about it, and people were able to see his glory because of the testimony that the man was giving about what God had done for him. And of course people were upset, and so they kicked Jesus out. But it wasn't like Jesus was like, oh, y'all have to accept me, I'm trying to be accepted by y'all. Him or John the Baptist wasn't concerned with any of those things. So rejection is really only rejection when you're desiring to be a part of whatever it is you're being rejected from. If you have no desire to be included or inclusive, then you don't really get the sting of rejection. It's just others' perception and perspective of you not being included is that you're being rejected. But if you're not seeking to be included, you're not really rejected. And even in rejection, as you can see clearly, when Jesus was rejected from the city, when you're operating in your purpose, people will come to you. John the Baptist was out in the wilderness, people came to him. So don't allow the things that you don't have, or rejection if you desire to be amongst certain groups and they're not they're not approving of you, then that's not your business, and it's not something you should even really be worried about. The best thing that you can do is continue to be yourself, and who you are will attract the people that are for you. And regardless of the trials or temptations that you might be going through in your wilderness or in your desert places, know that it's really just a place for God to get his best transformation out of you, and for God to get his best transformation out of you, not anybody else. The wilderness is with you, God, and of course it might be some wild beasts, but even with the wild beasts, there's some angels there too, like watching over you in that season, in that place. So just be yourself. Don't allow lack or your location to impact your heart. As long as your heart is in the right place and you are striving towards righteousness, you're striving towards or having a thirst after God's heart, and things of that nature, none of the other things should matter or have any impact on you. And if they do, then that's something that while you're in your wilderness or your desert place, that you can pray for God to help kind of reveal why they have impact on you, so you can get to the root of what that thing is, so God can help you clear it up while you're in that wilderness season, so when you do step out, you're good to go. You fortified, you solid, you ain't got no worries. Listen, it's been an interesting day. It's gorgeous outside. I know I done probably took like really one nap, but I feel like I could take another one. But I'm gonna pray about that too and make sure. Did y'all know it's a spirit of deep sleep? Did y'all know that? I still been like here and there reading up on the different spirits in the Bible, but you know there's a spirit of deep sleep. Did y'all know that? I gotta pray about that thing and make sure that's not what's hitting me, because this last week or two I've been real like but I'm still here. So yeah, and y'all be blessed. Have a great Saturday, a great Sabbath. I might come back with something else, but I think that was it. That was my just encouraging word for the day. Like, if anything, rejoice in your wilderness place, or you can be chill like John the Baptist was, and you don't need a lot. You just need enough to do what it is that God is calling you to do, and then the lot that you desire, God will give to you. But just remember, when God gives, he does give you stuff 100-fold, but persecutions are still attached to that. So he'll give you all of those things: houses, home, land, whatever it is that you desire. But attached with that, when it's from God, it still comes with persecution. So you're not clear and free. This butterfly is huge and gorgeous. Hey. But don't stress, don't worry, just rejoice at whatever space and stage and place that you're at, and know that God's hand is in it when you're doing the right thing and you have the right motives. So that was my little encouragement. Is that what you call them? I don't think that is him. You done cut his hair. Adios. All right, y'all. Peace.